What is the receiving mode and how do you get into it? Well, first, if it's okay with you, I want to tell you how you know when you're not in the receiving mode, because we learn oftentimes by contrast. But when you're not in the receiving mode, it's because you have resistance to what you're wanting. But even more so, that the resistance comes when you push against the unwanted. So let me say that to you again in a different way. Is that okay? That you are in the receiving mode when you stop pushing against the unwanted. Yes, you're in the receiving mode when you stop pushing against the unwanted. How do you do that? You may ask, right? What is it that is unwanted? Where does the unwanted come from? Well, it's often things that are unwanted is because you have a belief that is different than what you're asking for. When our beliefs are different than what we're really asking for, it creates an energetic discord. So therefore, you are no longer able to stay and maintain into the receiving mode of open receptivity, what you've asked for. So what can you do about that, right? First, you have to understand, where does resistance come from? And I just shared with you where resistance comes from is by having a belief that's different than what you're asking for. Well, how do you change that, right? Well, how do you get into the receiving mode and how do you change your resistance? Well, obviously, it's pretty intuitive, right? You're with me if you're intuitive. I know you're intuitive, that you kind of know, well, I have to release the resistance to the unwanted. But how do you do that? Well, there are many ways that you can learn how to release the resistance to the unwanted and stay in open receiving mode. Receiving mode means that your energy is flowing without the resistance. So the ways in which you can get into the receiving mode is to, one, release resistance, two, release the belief that is not in harmony with what you're asking for. And I love to teach people how to release beliefs. There are many ways in which you can release and change beliefs once they're in your awareness. The most important thing is to recognize that there is a belief that is different than what you're asking for, so that you can go ahead and get in there and do some inner work and make the change. Right? And the third thing you can do is pay attention to your energy. Notice whether your energy feels like it's flowing and you're open to receiving what you're asking for. And if you feel like that, you get that feeling of and and ugh and oh, you're not in the receiving mode, right? That you are having resistance and a belief that's different than what you're asking for. So my invitation to you is that you start, one, recognizing when you are in receiving mode and when you are not. Stop pushing against the unwanted. Release the resistance that you have by checking out what the belief may be, and then focusing on the energy of when things are in flow. And those are ways in which you can get easily back into the receiving mode that is matching and aligned with what you're asking for. The truth is, we're always receiving. We may not like what we're receiving, or we may block what's coming to us because we are pushing against what is wanted or what is unwanted. Your belief is different than what is wanted, but you are actually pushing against the unwanted, which blocks your receiving mode. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you like this video and want to hear more, please subscribe to Healing Activator on Instagram and Sharon.tube on YouTube.